Pollock-Krasner House and Study Center. We are a national landmark in East Hampton, New York. We're located about 100 miles east of New York City, and we're the home of the foremost abstract expressionist artists, Pollock and Krasner. But today we do have a special virtual tour, and I am so happy to present the Bridgehampton Museum with the collection manager, Tim Malyk, right? Malyk. So we're doing this informally, but this is extraordinary. I'll just start by expressing my enthusiasm. This museum is located on Montauk Highway in Bridgehampton. It's across the street from Almond Restaurant and also across the street from Topping Rose Hotel and Restaurant. And it's a white building with a circular sculpture by Joel Pearl,
a local artist who lives here in Watermill in New York City. He's a professor at SVA. He's got a long career as a...
He was actually my teacher years ago. So it's extraordinary what Tim has accomplished at this museum in such a short time. So we're going to hear from Tim, but we're also going to look at some of the art in the current exhibition as well as the permanent collection. So Tim, tell us a little bit about the transition that this building went through. It's backlit. How about, can you stand here so it's not so backlit? Yeah, okay,
good. Come all the way over here.
I think that's better, yeah.
So the home was originally built in 1824 by Abraham Topping Rose. And it was a much smaller footprint than it is now. It was built just to be a summer residence. And then in 1840, it was bought by Nathaniel Rogers, who we've named the home after. Now we've given it its namesake, but he's the one that transformed it into this Greek Revival mansion you see on the highway. He transformed it, expanded the footprint, put the beautiful facade out front with the columns. He was a miniature painter. And at the time, I think when he was still alive, the third richest man on Long Island. He was a prolific miniature painter, really well known. He was out there. He had a studio in New York City, and then he eventually retired out here permanently. After Nathaniel Rogers, it changed hands a few times, but then in 1894, it turned into the Hampton House. It was one of the first kind of inns in Bridgehampton, where people would come out in summer, and they'd come and visit. They rented rooms and beds, and this was for 55 years. It was the Hampton House out here, and then it reverted back to private hands, I believe, in 1940, and then just before COVID, mid 2015, 2010, the renovation had begun. The building was acquired from the family. And a renovation was started, and the renovations were completed just after COVID. And the
renovation is extraordinary. So I hope if you do live on Long Island or New York, and you come out to visit the East End, you'll come here. There's just so much detail. You could just see a little bit of it right here. Every room is exquisite.
Yeah, they did a remarkable job restoring original woodwork and creating replicas of things that were lost. But this is brought back to its kind of glory. But now it's become an incredible space to show artwork, exhibitions. You know, the focus of the museum is the cultural and artistic heritage of our town in Bridgehampton, but also the surrounding area. And it really lends itself well to holding all sorts of exhibitions. And the one that we have now currently is from a local collector, a resident filmmaker, Lana Jokel. And we're grateful to have her having chosen our institution to show her remarkable collection. But this house makes for a wonderful showcase for these works. It covers a full basis of artists that were her friends, but also very well-known people.
How about we'll take a look at the exhibit, and we're just doing an informal walkthrough, and we're going to stop off from time to time to share some of the specific artworks with you, but there's so many artworks of the icons of modern art that it would be too much to cover. I would just like to tell you, I came in here for the opening last week, And everyone was stunned at the level of the quality of the art. So how about, let's start with this room. Is that okay, Tim?
Sure.
Now, first off, before we do start, can you tell us a little bit, how did it come about that you obtained this exhibition?
Well, I've been here about 2 years, as well as the executive director, Connor Flanagan. And we've kind of developed a program of exhibitions, and we've kind of built it from the ground up, as it were. And we started with a few smaller shows. And this year we were talking with a local artist and curator, Mark Wilson, to do a show about the potato, because this is Bridgehampton and the area, and it was the perfect kind of show to have this early, spring. While we were putting the show together, Mark introduced myself to Lana Jokel. She came to the space, fell in love with the house. And then from there, we started discussions about putting a show together, curating an exhibition of her collection that we have now, that
Great.
we have installed.
Okay, so we'll do a little walkthrough, and I'm happy to answer questions, and Tim can answer questions as well, or take comments as we go along. So how about this? Let's start with this amazing piece. When I walked in, this is by Keith Saunier. Now, this piece relates actually really well to Jackson Pollock, because it has this linear quality to it. It almost looks like you could be looking at drips of paint and lines of paint, but it's actually obviously neon lights and electronic device. Keith Saunier is from Bridgehampton.
He's local.
Yeah, he's local. And we discuss him in some of our other Zoom programs as well. This is stunning. Here we have Eric Fischel. And Eric Fischel we are very proud to have Eric Fischel, lives in Sag Harbor, and he is a very important, well-known contemporary figurative painting. Any of your favorite pieces in this room, Tim?
It's hard to really pick a favorite, and I don't think it would be fair to pick one out. The collection as a whole reflects Lana's friends and people that she's interacted with. So there are a number of artists that are with us and not with us now from the area, but also other well-known artists from across the country. But together they create, this collection creates a portrait of her through her artwork. I couldn't really pick out one particular work. We actually were able to curate this collection from a much larger group body of work that she has. So we've kind of condensed it into just a few, handpicked items. But
Yeah.
I mean, they all really kind of tell a story. And we'll be having a talk here on the 14th with Lana. She has anecdotes for all of the work. There's stories behind each piece they're her stories to tell. But it's really incredible. It's hard to say which one is the best. Once you hear the stories, you really start to say, "Oh, I've never thought about that piece." So
there are some that speak to me more than others, not so much because they're the best, but just because I happen to just really love them. This one over here, I couldn't believe it when I walked in. This is by the surrealist artist Rene Magritte. And this is a series of framed prints in 5 panels done in 1948. Magritte is one of the icons of modern art. It's incredible. You could see the portrait of the woman in different segments. Now, Tim, this room is incredible. This is incredible. Because when you walk in, you immediately see Andy Warhol's soup can, his iconic soup can. But then I noticed that many of these pieces are actually signed on the bottom. It's hard to see. It says to Lana. I know she's going to be giving a talk. Do you happen to know, why so many of these pieces are actually signed to her?
She was friends with all of the artists in this room. And there are stories behind each of these pieces, but that just lends itself more to why this collection is so special and really tells her story. I mean, she was friends with literally every single person that's hanging in this room. Andy Warhol, she had collaborated with on documentary films and had known him back in when she came to the United States. Roy Lichtenstein, she was familiar with this small work here. They were friends. He was a resident of the Hamptons. Same with John Chamberlain.
John Chamberlain had a studio on Shelter Island, and he is known for using actual car parts and, the metal from cars to create these beautiful sculptures. This one is small scale, but many of his sculptures are very, very large. One of the things I love about John Chamberlain is that this is metal. Metal is a hard material, and yet the way he fabricate or molds these sculptures, it actually looks like water. It looks like the shimmering effect of light. It doesn't look hard. It actually looks fluid. These pieces are incredible. And here's a sketch, which interesting.
It's a self-portrait.
He calls it self-portrait. Interesting.
You can almost see the face in there if you look at it long enough.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see the self-portrait. Talk about self-portraits. Here is a portrait of Lana. This one is by Larry Rivers. Lana did a 2-hour, approximately 2-hour feature-length documentary about the very famous artist Larry Rivers. This is a portrait of her, and in the eye it says Ping. She said originally her name was Ping. She was from China. But this is an incredible drawing by Larry Rivers.
Yeah, and then this shaped canvas by Sven Luken was somebody that Lana was very close with and knew very well. And his career, he was an artist that showed with Pace Gallery in New York in the 60s. With these shaped canvases, he also did collage assemblages. So there's this winged heart is another example of his work. We have several of them in this exhibition. Lana was very close with Sven.
It's incredible. And here is a photograph of Lana.
This was taken by John Chamberlain, and he used to carry a camera around with him, but this was at the parish out here, and he took a kind of shot from the hip, an action shot, as it were.
Yeah.
And then below that is a portrait of Lana by Edward Shea. We have she has a number of his works in the collection. She's been friends with him for a number of years.
Okay, this is incredible. Ed Ruscha is, he just had a retrospective at the Museum of Modern Art. He's one of my favorite artists. He does a lot with text and words. And to me, the artworks are kind of mysterious, but I'll show you some of his artworks, and we're going to have a talk later on in September. I'm going to do a talk about artists who use words in their art, and I'm going to feature Ed Ruscha. But just to give you a little idea here, this is one of them. It says angel, and it kind of mimics what would be sort of like tattoo writing. Here's another one by Ed Ruscha. It says always.
And this is the Los Angeles at night. This series of the paintings you see with these lights, it's generally Los Angeles as the city at night. He's done several paintings similar to this, not with the same text, but with the same backdrop. He is known as a Los Angeles artist, California artist. But I mean, this is truly an incredible piece. To have in this museum is it's an honor at Bridgehampton.
Now, Tim, I notice in this room, did you sort of organize a lot of these pieces? This is sort of like a pop art room.
It wasn't that Lana had organized each room. She had a plan for each room, and we executed on the plan. But this was just to show kind of the core group. We have Jasper Johns, Ed Ruscha, all people that she's known for a number of years and is friends with. But things aren't laid out in any kind of order by importance or anything. It just happened to be that these works worked so well in this space. This particular room in the mansion lends itself to being a space you can show this kind of contemporary artwork. It's very much like a hybrid between an old house and a modern gallery space. So it kind of wound up that way. When we,
I see Lana just came in.
Great.
Okay. And I do notice in this room, I don't know if it's just a coincidence, there's a lot of art in this room that uses text, okay? So shall we continue?
Yes,
What-
we have 8 rooms. The entire ground floor of the museum is devoted to the collection. Since our next hallway, we have works by Peter Beard, another piece by Sven Luken, The Elephant, that's a charcoal drawing.
What's this potato?
This is Sven Luken also. His body of work is very diverse. These are both Sven. He actually was quite fond of the potato. So hence why he became a part of the potato show, but now we have his works back. This work was actually in Mark Wilson's I Say Potato Show as well, so it's come back to us for another exhibition.
Really good. In case you don't know the reference to the potatoes, Bridgehampton used to be known for its potato farms. Not up until not too long ago, actually.
There's a whole
Any
story
comment on
behind
that?
it.
Yeah.
Being the collection manager, learning all the history of the town. It's the soil and the loam in the soil that makes this area very conducive to growing potatoes and other local crops, but particularly the potato. They found to be the soil here is optimal for growing that crop.
Are there still any other potato farms?
There's several that are around, some that are long-standing. I'm not going to say any specific names just because
That's amazing.
we don't want
wow.
to single anybody out, but
Yeah.
there's still farms out here growing potatoes and pumpkins and corn and other crops. And here we have another local artist too, one of the friends of our museum, Steve Miller. He is based out here in the Hamptons, and he's shown, I think, in over 300 exhibitions. He's quite well known, but he tends to X-ray objects, and it's incredible. He's X-rayed the Amazon. He's done so much. He's so prolific.
Yeah, you can't really see it, but there's sort of like another. It's hard to see on Zoom. There's another kind of pattern of maybe it's an X-ray, maybe it's paint. It's hard to see. It
You
says
see the X-rayed element of the flower and the vase, and then he'll work these images. He'll hand work them. I mean, it's quite impressive. We've been to his studio. He's invited us, and the work is quite good. It's quite remarkable.
and it kind of combines science and art.
Right. It is a big combination of that. And then Peter Beard, well-known photographer, was resident of the East End. These as well, they're dedicated to Lana. So these again kind of tie into this idea of portrait of her who wrote work.
Hi, Lana. We're doing a Zoom program.
Thank you. I did give you a good tour.
Nice to see you.
That's it, Tim. I took those 2 statues.
Right.
Okay.
Continue into the next room, which this fireplace kind of stands out to people when you come in. This was put in while this was the Hampton House. And we actually have some details left, some of the few details that are left of the house that when they did the renovation, these cornices were part of the original inn. You can almost see the two, it's almost a logo of the Hampton House. I don't know if that's the real thing or it's just a design, but I like to think that it's an H for Hampton House. But
This is extraordinary.
it makes for a really unique way to display artwork in here. And as you can see, these works, I mean, they kind of blend into the fireplace, but they're also accentuated by the fireplace at the same time. That's another work by Sven Luken. So you really see how diverse his body of work is. Yeah, this is Caro, Jack Youngerman, who was based out here in the Hamptons. She has several of his works, as well as Elizabeth Strong Cuevas. And Patton Miller, another local Hamptons artist.
Well, as you could see, everyone on our Zoom program, many of these artists still live and work out here. So we all know historically the Hamptons was you know, the Impressionist artists came out here in the late 1800s, and there were waves of artists. The Surrealist artists came out, and then the 1940s and 50s, the abstract expressionist artists grew up out here. And it really is still very vibrant and home and to many, many working artists still today.
I mean, being here, the number of artists that are within a literal stone's throw of this museum, it's remarkable. Having come out here and then realized who lives a block away and then a block away from them. I mean, they're all our neighbors. You know, it's just such a fertile area for artists and creating artwork. These last two are interesting. This is Roy Lichtenstein and Larry Rivers. These are actual maquettes for a project that Lana had worked on with several artists to create screens. Only a handful of the screens are actually made, but these are the lacquer maquettes for the larger screens.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Roy Lichtenstein also worked out here, as did Larry Rivers.
Yes. People may
Amazing.
know him for the legs. When you're driving on Montauk Highway now, you see them at the Deacon, the Liberty Steel, Liberty Iron Works. Yeah.
Any questions? Anybody on our Zoom program have any questions so far? Is the museum open to the public? Good question.
Yes, 100%, and it's free. So we're open to the public and there is no cost for admission.
And what are the hours?
We're Wednesday to Saturday. I believe it's 11 to 3 right now.
That's incredible that it's free. And is it open all year?
We close for about a month in January to refresh the museum and the galleries, but we have a very full exhibition schedule. I mean, even throughout we're booked right through the next year to the end of next year. We have a full lineup of exhibits.
And how long, when does this exhibit come down, Tim?
This will come down on the 21st of September.
Okay, and then what comes up after that?
After that, we have a local furniture designer, David Ebner. It's a 50-year retrospective of his working practice. He studied with Wendell Castle, another famous furniture designer up at RIT. But he's exhibited in a number at the MFA in Boston. There's a really long list of places that have his work. But this entire museum will be full of his pieces. So we're going to go from this remarkable collection to another remarkable designer. And then come November, it's two local architects, Stamberg and Afariat, will have their models and photographs and plans for buildings that they've dreamt up, completed. We're a very active place. We're trying to keep all of our sites and this museum activated throughout the year. So every time people come to the Hamptons, there's something new to see here. You know, we want to keep people coming back and excited to visit.
Tim is incredible. Like, I want to know what kind of vitamins he takes, because like he has so much energy. But tell us about the staff of the museum. How many people work here full time? I'm just curious.
So there are 3 of us. I'm the collections manager. We have Connor Flanagan, who's the executive director. And then our museum coordinator, Aiden. She does everything else for us here. She's remarkable.
You've accomplished so much in such a short time. How did you do that?
A lot of hours. No, we had a blank slate when we started. There was nothing in this museum. There were posters on the wall with double stick tape. There were no exhibits built. So the board and Connor had told me, you know, we need some exhibits. Please come up with some things. And I said, do you have any rules? Do you have any regulations or stipulations for me? They said no. And then
wow,
they let me run wild, and now we have some really fun spaces outside of the spaces that we use for shows like Lana's. We have some permanent exhibits that don't come down, that stay here all year round.
And we'll get to that in a moment. But I think,
ask a question?
of course, go ahead.
So someone like Lana, who has this enormous collection, where would this collection reside when it's not on exhibit with you? I'm just curious.
It's with her. It lives
So
with.
all of this would be in her home.
Yes,
in
in multiple
someone's home.
homes. Yes, we
Wow.
hear from multiple locations.
Wow.
She lives with her art. It's represents her friends and people she has brought in to, be family essentially. So this is very much a personal project of creating the collection, but having chosen us to do this, we're really touched to have this opportunity because these are so
She's
important.
taking it off the walls of her home.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
Come out of her
Wow.
home and come here. So, I mean, to another home. And that's something that I've been telling people as we have openings and they come to visit the museum. This has been a home. It is a home. It was lived in by artists and we wanted to keep feeling like that. And anytime we put a show up here, it feels like a home. It doesn't feel like a cold white box or when you go into certain kind of gallery spaces that are just white cubes with cement floors. This really has a feel here. And artwork really sings and speaks to you as it would in a home when you come to this space. So it really worked out well, knowing that these pieces came from Lana's homes and now they're here. They change the feel slightly, but they still maintain that intimacy here, that you can interact with this artwork in a way that you couldn't in a much larger,
Yeah.
Colder space.
Yeah, that's a good point. And also, if you don't mind me saying so, Tim, I don't mean to embarrass you or anything, but Tim is so enthusiastic. And I have a theory. I really believe that when a person is enthusiastic for their vision, for art, and for the historic site, and the welcoming attitude you have towards people, which I've observed when they come in here, I think it has a momentum. And I think the momentum is that it attracts also really amazing people who want to work with the museum, who want to collaborate. And that combined with the hard work of putting the vision together and the executive director and the other people on the staff, it's extraordinary. It really is within such a short time. And I understand you're also going to be shortly posting a position for a museum educator.
I believe so. It might even be filled. That's a question for Connor. That's the
That's the
other side of the
executive, yeah,
business.
yeah.
I don't make those decisions, but yes, we're growing. We're growing, and the goal here with the institution, we want to be a cultural hub. We're not just an art museum. We deal with the history of the town. We deal with the people. We deal with the artisans outside of the fine artists. We're really trying to make it the hub. That the spokes can come off of. We have another property at the other end of town outside of this, right across from the Candy Kitchen, that we activate and have exhibitions and projects and programs there. So we really want this institution to become a hub for Bridgehampton and the surrounding area.
Yeah. And I understand that other location that you actually physically went in there and renovated it.
I just, somehow or another, we were able to convince the board to let me build a new gallery space in one of the barns. We're going to introduce that in September during the Cars and Coffee event that we host in conjunction with the car show that happens at the bridge, which used to be the racetrack out here, but is now a golf course club. They have a big car show every year. The day after, we host a public event where a lot of those exhibitors and cars come to our space at Corwith House, the Corwith Homestead. So we built out this gallery space and we're going to have an exhibition to kind of coincide with that. And it launches the space, but we'll be having other kind of programs and events and exhibitions there. So it's just another space we can activate here. Just as we have our property, there's outdoor sculptures, there's educational programming. Once the Corwith House is renovated, it's another exhibition platform too. So it's really, we're trying to keep this moving, keep the momentum.
It's remarkable. And how about on that note, Tim, let's go into the gallery where he has an exhibit about the history of the racetrack, the Bridgehampton racing, and then we'll come back to Lana's exhibit.
This was one of the rooms that I can't believe they let me do. Basically, Bridgehampton, for me, when you think about it, the town is known for potatoes and the racetrack. This racetrack was an internationally known race circuit. You had Mario Andretti here, you had all the biggest names in NASCAR, you had guys racing for years. They opened it in 1957, I think was the first race. They broke ground in 1955. The townspeople had sold shares in front of the Candy Kitchen so they could buy 500 acres of land, and they built this track. Paul Newman used to race here, you know, and it was incredibly popular. But we wanted to devote a section, a wing of this museum to that, to honor that history of the town. And we had the Bob Rubin at the bridge was kind enough to lend us the video that they had edited and put together, which tells the history of racing in Bridgehampton from when it was the road race through to the time that they built the track. You know, it's
That's
incredible.
really cool.
Narrated by Richard Kind. It's really
That's
fun.
really good.
So yeah, they let me paint racing stripes on the wall, throw a vinyl map up, and then we had borrowed a slot car track from a local man that builds them, Andy Miller. Andy Morris. He'll kill me if I get the name wrong. But we had borrowed his, and we liked it so much that we asked him to build us our own. And he gave it to us, and it was just a wooden platform. And then I spent last summer gluing and building all of these elements.
Wait, Tim, you actually like put together,
Yeah.
built like,
Yeah,
which parts?
all of it. Like
Okay, you see what I'm saying? I mean, when
Well, right
you have
now,
time to
made-
do this.
I made these guardrails.
Look at this
I stained the wood. I mean, it was fun, but it takes out the key components to the track. It's not a scale model, but it works. And kids come, grown-ups come. I mean, adults and children. Everybody gets a trophy after they race and run on the track. We have the cars that are actually people that raced on the track. Bruce McLaren, Jim Hall. It's a really fun.
So people
part of
can
it.
actually come and play, the cars actually race. Here, the cars actually work.
Yeah, they should be on. I think it's on.
How cute is that? Oh my, that
So
is
they sit
adorable.
and they race. But it's another one of these things where when people come, they know this is here. They can bring their families, they bring their friends, and it's a way to engage the community.
Yeah, and it's really good also to have, like in a museum, to have topics that would interest a wide audience, like race cars.
That's the big part of it, where it's not just, we're not trying to focus solely on artwork or fine art exhibitions. It's the town, it's the history. 'Cause that's, let's face it, it's all tied together.
Mhm.
And having the race room is great. It's so much fun,
Yeah.
you know, but it really engages people. And there's people that come in and have no idea that the racetrack was there. It's not something, the people that know about it, there's fewer and fewer of them around now.
I did go to that racetrack in the 1980s.
It shut down,
Yeah.
the last race was in 1997, so it went for a while until
Yeah.
the town really had issues with noise and
What's there now?
the bridge, the country club.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
with Bob Rubin had bought it. Him and his partners run this country club, but it maintains a lot of the elements that were there during the racetrack. The Chevron Bridge is still there. There's racing components to it.
Uh-huh.
It's preserved in that way.
Yeah.
The alternative to that would have been track homes or you know, not track
Yeah.
homes, but you know, subdivisions and homes being built there. Whereas now
Yeah.
the land is still there
Yeah.
and the history is in
The
the
open
soil,
land,
you
yeah.
know. This is another interesting room in the mansion. It was built, we're presuming it was a kind of dining area. Based on this really unique fireplace and cooking stove. This was here during the Hampton House. When it
That's
was again.
incredible.
But for me, it felt like a boat, felt like a ship.
See it? See the fireplace? Yeah. Wow.
We typically use this room to focus on the maritime history of Bridgehampton. We're on the beach, so when it's not an all-encompassing exhibition like it is with Lana Jokel's collection, we have elements of things that were brought to our collection from locals, sea captains and fishermen and people. They brought these back from their journeys.
Now, wait, this is like incredible.
Yeah,
This
there's
is
some
like
really great
A
things.
shark tooth spear
Yeah.
from what year? 1848.
Yeah, they're some of them were just sitting in the attic at the Corbett House. We have some records on these, and there was a whole group of people that were in the South Pacific that there's an island where they make these. They wear blowfish helmets and kind of armor. And it's a whole thing, but you know, there's an incredible history of obviously of sailing and dealing with the sea here. So we wanted to make this room focus on that. You know, we have a whole corner devoted to the story of the Circassian, which I could do a whole Zoom talk on that alone. But basically, this room is normally another one of the permanent spaces where we rotate the artifacts and what we show, but it maintains the focus on the maritime history.
And what is this?
This is part of Lana's collection. This is a contemporary artist that designed this and crocheted this wool headgear and the jacket. And there's another Sven Luken. So I mean, you really get an idea of the extent of his body of work. He was working in also a number of mediums.
What are these artifacts? This is hard to see probably on Zoom. They're like, what are these, spears?
So eel spears, used for fishing for eel. I don't know if that's the right term, but when you're going to catch eel.
Hunting.
Yeah. So, I
Wow.
mean, they would typically be put onto a pole that was about almost 20 feet long, anywhere from 15 to 20 feet long. And we have a number of these in our collection
Wow.
here.
It's remarkable. Do you get school children coming?
We do. And Connor has a number of educational programs designed for children, where we're going to be ramping that up in 2026 as well, with a whole new slew of programming. You know, we really try and engage the community on all fronts here. You know,
This is beautiful. All these things made out of whale bones.
it's incredible
Wow.
what they can make.
Incredible.
Absolutely remarkable.
Wow. Any questions, anybody? Thoughts, ideas?
Am I talking too much?
No, Tim is not talking too much. Let's go into the next room and look at some of the photographs. There's a Pollock photo in there.
The great high.
Joyce, I was going to ask if there's any way to take a look outside before you end.
Oh, yeah, it's incredible outside. I'll walk out there and show you the surrounding
go.
area.
I'll show you right now.
You'll get a feel for it. Where are you located? Where are you who is that?
Oh, that
Ilwinder?
was me. Yeah.
Yeah, and where,
I
where are you
I
from?
find all this
Virginia?
fascinating. Yes, I find this fascinating because my family went to Bridgehampton every weekend, the adults, and they did, they found adult just activities and stuff. And it was just every weekend, the place to go was Bridgehampton. So I find this absolutely fascinating. And they were fishermen, of course. So I was like, gosh, you didn't even know where you were growing up. So this is just fantastic to me.
I'm so glad you're enjoying it. It's fantastic to
Yeah.
meet you. It's like a treasure trove of art here, and it's a gem. It really is.
I mean, since I've been here, I keep finding new things every time I go into the archive or into the other house. I mean, all of the things that are in this house, I found in the old house and our archive. I mean, we have a butler's pantry that was part of this, that we populated with things that were in the collection. So, I mean, you just keep finding new things here. We find things on the property. We had metal detecting, 2 gentlemen that do metal detecting out here. And they go around from field to field, and on some of these big mega mansions out here, people that have property, they'll do the metal detecting on their property, and they're finding coins from China. They're finding buttons, Revolutionary War buttons, and all sorts of things. So, I mean, you're always finding something out here. There's layers of history and layers of things to see.
That's amazing.
But this room is obviously, it's all photographs. Lana wanted the room of these photos, and surprisingly, this wood panel room lends itself really well to showing art, but photography in particular.
This is extremely well conceived.
We have Mary Ellen Mark, that is a very famous photographer. The elephant is a great image. This, I believe, it's unknown. I've been doing some research. It might be Billy Names' photo, another collaborator of Andy Warhol, but Lana has this obviously for her connection to Andy, and they're working together in documentary films and other projects. And this is Ernesto Neto. He's a Brazilian artist. Most people don't know him for photography. You don't see a lot of his photographs. He's more well known for larger sculptural installations using nylon and weighted kind of
Mhm.
beads and objects. So this was really, it's a beautiful photograph. And when she told me who it was kind of surprised. But he's a Brazilian artist, and Lana had actually grown up and was raised in Brazil. So this has a very personal connection for her.
This is unreal. This is really beautiful. I love this juxtaposition here.
It's a quite famous photograph by Elizabeth Novick, as particularly of Robert Rauschenberg. It was from the performance that John Cage had staged, and Rauschenberg had designed these elements that were in the performance.
It's a great juxtaposition of Robert Rauschenberg with his umbrella, and then these ballet dancers in tutus. It's a really nice comparison about movement and capturing movement.
I mean, and it's interesting we have them that way. I wasn't even thinking that
Mhm.
way when you have Jackson Pollock in the corner by Hans Namath, who was a photographer based out here, and knew a lot of the artists that lived on the East End here. But this is actually your your space.
So there's Pollock doing his famous drip painting technique.
And these heads are really interesting. Andre Vierre had approached and asked Pablo Picasso if they could use his heads to superimpose over his photographs. So you have this collaboration where you see these actual Picasso drawings, that are overlaid across Vier's landscapes.
Hmm.
It's a whole portfolio that was put together. Lana has these
Interesting.
three, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Hmm.
And then Herb Ritz, James Moore, two other well-known photographers. This one, quite interesting. The Jeff Robb, it's a lenticular photograph. So I don't know if you can see it in the zoom. As you move from side to side, the photograph
a little
actually
bit.
moves.
Yeah, a little.
That's from that being a lenticular photo. They're
Huh.
very thin
Mm.
panels, so when you move, there's images on one side or the other, so it'll
Okay.
shift as you move.
And last but not least, in terms of these rooms, is this one back here.
Yes.
Hmm. This looks a little more like folk art.
Well, again, as we mentioned, just really quickly in the other room, Lana had grown up and was, majority of her life was spent in Brazil. So she has this influence, and this is an unknown Brazilian painter, another one. And then Sven Lukin again, who we can see the diversity of his body of work. It's really incredible how he's worked across all of these mediums and all of these different color palettes and objects. But yes, they all kind of work together in that folk art way,
Mhm.
And then Lauren Dunlap, local artist, incredible.
This is really beautiful.
Oh,
We
this is
do,
gorgeous.
yeah. We do collage workshops from time to time with our Pollock Zoom where we tear up former artworks. And this is a really good example of a collage that's abstract, but it almost looks like an aerial view.
No, was an incredible talent.
See that one?
I think I was saying a local artist. It's somebody that again, Lana's brought in to her circle, but it's incredible how many of these local artists she's been able to
Mhm.
put into her collection. And that work, if I have to, you want to know one of my top favorite ones, it is that one.
You love
Yeah,
this
I
one.
really do love it.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry. Can I ask?
Of course, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. That lenticular photo, it reminded me of Edward Weston's work.
Hmm.
There's one photograph that looks so much like that. I thought that's what it was at first. Can you tell me again who the photographer was?
Jeff Robb, Robb, like boy. He's got a website too. I looked that one up. It's from the Outside series, or Outsider or Outside series. But his website's actually quite good. It's very detailed. He's got all the details on there for each series, for the works. I mean, it's well done. But it's Jeff Robb, R-O-B-B.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mm, thank you.
And then here, this corner is homage to Lana's roots in China. So we have the antique bird cage.
That's gorgeous. This bird cage is amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really beautiful.
There's so much beauty here. Look at this one. That's incredible. Ink on paper.
It ties in, you know, this again, this kind of landscape to Jim Gingrich's work, and then Terry Elkins, more local artists. This work is actually on a chalkboard, the smaller one, this one next to it. This is done all on a chalkboard.
That's amazing.
Yeah, tiny little slate.
Hmm.
But it's cool. I mean, you can see the detail, the ripples in the water in this
Mhm.
boathouse. I mean, it's really an incredible piece. He's a talented artist.
Mm.
And this part of the museum was this is brand new. When the house itself, before they renovated, it was almost falling down. There were gas pumps out front. At one point in time, this was a gas station out front. But when it reverted back to private hands, it fell into disrepair. But when the town acquired this and the museum was in the process of renovating it, this part of the house couldn't have been saved. So they tore this entire wing down and rebuilt this. So this also has a little bit more of a contemporary feel here as opposed to other spaces.
Tim, thank you so much. Any other questions? Does anybody have comments?
I just wanted to say one thing. Coming from a car culture, huge car enthusiast, I love the car area. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have thought of it, but the Hampton Classic Horse Show with their famous poster artwork,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I hope you'll do an exhibit on that sometime.
Oh, we're working on that. We have a
Excellent.
loose tie with it's happening right now. I drove past it.
Yes,
The 50th
yes.
anniversary, I think, this year. But yes, that is something that's a big part of the area too. The polo grounds, the horse show for 50 years. So we're thinking about how we can tie that in. Obviously, horses were a big part of the area between farming and recreational use. But yes.
Because with bated breath, everybody waits to see the poster for the current horse show to come out.
Right,
They're like,
right.
and it's beautiful artwork. Beautiful.
That would be a great show, especially if for how
Yeah,
many
big
years they've
expensive,
had
right?
it. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Very good.
We'll give you credit for that, Nancy. When we do the show, you're gonna get the credit for.
Oh, that is very good. You know what? Also, it's very
Fabulous.
popular. People like horses. And not that all exhibits should do, not that every museum should do exhibits that are popular. We need to have sometimes unpopular art too, so to speak, art that's super challenging. But it can be helpful to get people through the door to do a topic that's relatable. Any closing thoughts or other
Well,
questions?
the more that people are exposed to, the better off we are. So if there are things that are not familiar to people and now you showed it, you did a very good thing.
Thank you. Yeah, and we're still going. I mean, after the opening for this show was incredible. It was the biggest opening this museum's ever had. But from that, there were people that approached us about ideas for other shows that aren't fine art. You know, it might be a collection of objects. It might be other things. So again, it's not just an art museum. It's going to focus on the culture, the history, and how can we put those things together? How do we meld those things together? You know, and you could see from this little tour that this space really lends itself to doing just that. I mean, contemporary artworks and photographs are put into this home built in 1824, you know, and it still looks vibrant and great, but we're able to meld that history and the artwork together when we do that. So
That's what I love about it. It's a historic site, but it also feels so fresh and vibrant. It really is remarkable.
Joyce,
Thank
I have a question. This is Cynthia. Will Lana's talk be online for those of us who don't live in the area? I'm in Seattle, and I find this extremely exciting.
I believe it's going to be recorded. So should be recorded.
All of our kitchens are proudly made in the U.S.
Somebody is
Somebody
and
is
delivered
unmuted.
directly to you.
Wait,
We cut
I'm
out the middleman.
Hang on, I'm gonna mute
Guess what,
everybody.
Scott?
We
So
don't
you
want.
get
Okay. So,
Yeah, I believe it will be recorded and available after we do the walkthrough.
And
Okay.
how will we
Yeah,
be
Joyce,
notified that it's
Joyce,
online?
would you make us aware of it?
Oh, yes, we'll post it online. I think we'll probably, I'll talk to the director. We'll make sure that it's on there in terms of scheduling when it'll be available to the public.
But we follow Joyce, so if it goes
so
through
tell us
Joyce, we'll
how
say
it,
it.
first tell us your website address.
Oh, it's bridgehamptonmuseum.org.
Okay. So check with their website and then you will see all the upcoming events. Do you also have an email list? Do you send
We
out
do. You
emails?
can subscribe on the site, sign up to get notifications and information for upcoming events, for exhibitions. Because outside of these exhibitions here, we host programs and projects. There's a guy that does blacksmithing at Corwith House. It's beer and blacksmithing. There's limited spaces and people come in, they have some beers and they learn how to be a blacksmith, actually with the anvil and the hammer. And
Wait, they're drinking beer and
Yeah,
working
drinking
with
beer.
a blacksmith.
Yeah.
Okay.
A
No.
lot of sore fingers the next day.
Oh my God.
But there's a lot of exciting programs here. So outside of the exhibitions, we want to continue this kind of programming. It's for adults, it's for children, it's across the board. So again, we keep this space active as much as possible.
Well, everybody, thank you so much. And I will walk outside and I'll just show you a little glimpse of what's the areas like around the museum. So this is busy Montauk Highway, no longer a sleepy potato farm area. It's filled with lots and lots of people coming out. That is right there, that really gorgeous sculpture by Joel Perlman. And, basically the area, it's a lawn, it's a grassy area, right? And I'll step onto the grass so you could see the house. I'll try to walk back if I can. Can
Oh,
you see-
that's nice.
You see it?
Definitely. And it's
Yes, we
beautiful.
can see it.
Yes. Yep,
It's
it's
gorgeous.
lovely.
It's really so gorgeous. It really is. It's
Wow.
magnificent. What people can do, what they put their minds to it, to do something positive for the community is extraordinary. Right? And that everybody can enjoy also. So, Tim, thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you,
everyone,
Tim.
for
Thank
joining.
Thank you,
you.
Joyce.
And
Thank-
thank you to the Pollock-Krasner House and Study
Yes,
Center
thank you.
for,
Thank you.
we host these programs to help people access the art experience. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.